Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jacob Jenkins, and today we're looking at a 1986 Ford F250 with only 87,000 original miles. This is the manual 4-speed with the inline 6. This truck has been kept completely stock. It is a creme de la creme square body. And all I can say is, Joe Diffie would be proud. And of course, before we get started, if you do live in the DMV area and you have a cool car that you'd like me to come check out, talk to me about, feel free to reach out to me at jenkinsjacob4@gmail.com. First of all, I just want to talk about how clean this truck is. It's so hard to find a really nice square body, yet alone one with only 87,000 original miles. And this thing's been kept completely stock. My dad's done a really good job of keeping it up to date. He just threw on a new bumper. He's been keeping the interior really nice. And honestly, I think these are future classics. You don't see a lot of square bodies around that are in this good of condition, and this thing is just creme de la creme. And for the exterior of this truck, of course, you're gonna get a super nice, clean look. This thing's completely stock, square body. But in my opinion, the biggest thing that stands out is just the build quality. You look at a lot of new trucks and it seems like, they just throw plastic everywhere, plastic on the dash, plastic everywhere. But on this, the build quality is really, really good. And I've always heard people say, they don't make them like they used to. Well, I honestly believe that. Now, after looking at this truck, the build quality is really good. You can see you got chrome everywhere, chrome grille, chrome bumper. I mean, that is solid material. You even go over here to the door. I mean, just opening and closing the door. That's strong. That's this nice, strong truck. Everything's just built well. Nothing's falling apart. And of course, this truck only has 86,000 miles, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went for, another 200,000 more. And as I'm going around the exterior, something that I actually just found out is that this truck actually has coil spring suspension. I always thought this was leaf spring, and it always confused me because I was like, oh my God, this car has such a good ride. It feels like a Cadillac because the wheelbase is so long with the 8-foot bed. But yeah, coil spring suspension, just a surprise from a truck that comes from 1986. My 1994 Jeep Wrangler has leaf spring. So yeah, surprising find. And of course, this wouldn't be a truck review unless I showed you guys around the 8-foot bed. This is what makes the F250 stand out from the F150, which usually comes with a 5 or a 6-foot bed. I'm 5'9" and I'm sitting back here, and it feels like I'm only taking up like half of the bed. Of course, I'm sitting down, but you could easily fit lots of people in here, yet alone lots of stuff. There's so much space in here. My dad uses this to haul really, really long objects. We've stowed away couches, furniture, all that kind of stuff in here. But the 8-foot bed really does make a difference in this truck. If you're looking for a Ford and you want the most usability possible, I'd go with the 8-foot bed. Lots of activities can be done back here. And moving on into the interior, of course, you're gonna have a simple interior. It's a Ford work truck from the 80s. You're not gonna get any like Cadillac luxury features. But again, the build quality is what stands out to me the most. You climb in, oh my God, climb in here, and just shutting the door, you can hear that it's just a solid car. You look around and the materials, they're not crazy nice, but they're nice and sturdy. A little honk there, nice. And there's no cracks on the dash, which is really nice. Of course, the blue interior just looks really good. But you've got your basic radio, your 4-speed manual transmission, which basically sticks like 2 feet off of the chassis in the middle. And this knob is not on right. But this is honestly like the longest shifter I've ever seen in any car or truck. Like, for example, my 1994 Jeep Wrangler had a stick shift that was probably like half the size of this, but I can show you just how long the throws are. So this is manual right now, and it's kind of interesting because this car actually doesn't start in first. That's the granny gear, which some older trucks and SUVs had. The granny gear is pretty much just to maximize torque, so you wouldn't need that when you're starting on a roll. But you've got first right here. You have to work for it. First right there, second, third, third, yeah, that's third, fourth, and then here's reverse. So if you're ever gonna get this truck and you have people sitting in the middle, just tell them to watch out, tell them to watch their jewels, because you go into reverse, and you're basically almost touching the seat going down to reverse. If you've got someone sitting in the middle here, they're kind of in the danger zone. But again, this is a pretty nice interior. You know, you're getting a work truck at the end of the day, but I think the blue in here really just does it justice. You've got this awesome bucket seat, and this truck is so wide, I think I could honestly fit 3 more people next to me. You know, if I scoot all the way to the side and I'm all the way here, you can see just how much room I have next to me. I think you could fit 3 people, and you know, of course, someone who's sitting in front of here has to watch out. But overall, it's a nice interior. It's a work truck, so you know, you're kind of getting what you're paying for. And climbing out of the truck, you can also see that this truck has quarter glass windows, which not a lot of trucks or SUVs come with nowadays. But you see, this is usually propped up like this. That's in its lock position. But you move that over here and you push it out, and you basically get a whole another channel of air coming through into the cabin. It's basically another form of air conditioning, which is so awesome. You're like cruising down the road and you're getting just like a stream of air just like hitting you straight from the window. I don't know why they stopped making that, but really cool feature. There we go. Second. Woo. All right, so we're rolling along here in the Ford F250, 1986. And before I really get into the swing of things, I just want to say that this has been a great truck. You know, me and my family have had it for the past year or two, and it's just been a great truck. You know, it's done everything we need it to do. Every time we need to haul away something giant, we've always got this truck along with my dad's, you know, Ram 2500 and my brother's Chevy Colorado. But future videos. Anyway, this is just a great truck, and it's got such a classic feel to it, and that's what I love the most. I love how it's basically like a 3-speed manual. Each throw is, you really have to work for it. Even just putting it into manual feels like you have to work for it. But that manual transmission just really lets you feel connected to the car. And that's something I really love about this truck. And although this truck doesn't have like a big block or even the small block, you know, it's the inline 6, it still has plenty of torque, especially even just in second gear. She'll get you up right away. You don't really have to work for it. You know, it's not a race car, you know, it's a Ford F250. So, you know, expect what is there to expect. But it's got plenty of torque, and it's just overall a very capable truck. And as for the suspension, since this truck has such a long wheelbase, like, I'm kind of riding on a cloud. It's not a Cadillac, you know, but it's got a very comfortable ride. Given that long wheelbase, you don't feel a lot of bumps since it just cruises right over them. And I never knew that this thing had coil spring suspension, which is a big plus. I mean, compared to my Jeep Wrangler with that super short wheelbase and the leaf springs, I mean, it's a night and day difference. Let's go. Okay, back on the road. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just a really nice truck. If you're looking to get into one of these old 80s Fords, I recommend it. They're just built really well together. They're just strong, good trucks. They're not cheap trucks. And I'm sure they're hard to find nowadays. A clean, square body F250 8-foot bed. I mean, this truck really is just great. It's going to be hard to find just any of these, you know, regardless of low mileage. You could find one with 150,000 miles and someone's probably going to try and jack you up. But overall, great truck. Highly recommend. Go get yourself a Ford F250.